Hi and welcome back to the Red Panda Co. I am Tasha. So today we have a really fun video. I am doing my very first Smart Doll face up. I have already done it at this point. So what you're gonna see is in the past, but I'm actually looking at her right now. She's right here out of frame, right here. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I am definitely gonna do it again. So a face up is basically just taking a blank head, and in this case I'm using a Smart Doll head to draw on the details. So I'll show later in the video kind of just the tools that I used to make the face up, and you use those to draw on your own details. So the eyelashes, the detail around the eyes, the eyebrows, the mouth, and any sort of blushing and stuff like that. So that is what a face up is if you don't know what it is. And I had a lot of fun with it. I'll mention this later, but I got lucky enough to get a head that was already cut. The vinyl was already cut out, so the eyes were cut out and everything like that, so that made my job a lot easier. But anyway, without further ado, let's move on to the actual process of the face up. Hi and welcome to the table view. So hopefully you can see everything. This is my first time recording a face up, so you might not be able to see so much of the face up, but we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to really quickly talk in real time about everything that I've got here. As a disclaimer, I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a face up artist. This is the very first one I've ever done. But this is what, as a beginner, what I have in front of me. So I've got the Mirai Sculpt. I was lucky enough to get this in Chaos and it be cut already. So that's why we're starting with this one first. I have one of the cones. It's like the cut cone thing from the top. And I just have this to just like set it on. When I unboxed this one, I ended up getting like hints on what people use this for, and this was one of them. I did spray this with Mr. Super Clear outside because it's resin. I got this from Amazon, but I did spray that with one layer of Super Clear, Mr. Super Clear, and I let it dry for 30 minutes. I have Prismacolored watercolored pencils, which I have sharpened really sharp. One of the tips that my friend gave me was to make sure that they're all sharp. And then the random other assortment of things is I have a pencil sharpener. All I could find was a pastel pencil sharpener, but it seems to be working. A brush for blushes and stuff. And then I have this really dirty X-Acto knife. I've had this X-Acto knife for a very long time because I figure that for the blushes, I would like scrape off some of the colored pencil and kind of brush it on her face. So we'll see how that works. If you have any hints or anything as I go through the process of this, let me know. But I'm going to move on to a voiceover for the rest of this and a time lapse. I'm not going to be able to put everything in this video because I don't know how long this is going to take, and it might get boring if I show you the whole process, but I figured I would introduce the items that I'm using. So here's to the time lapse version. All right, so welcome to the voiceover me. I basically didn't have any plan for this at all, so you see me here swatching the colors because I just didn't know what to choose at the time, so I really was just doing this randomly. I didn't have any sort of plan, and so I just kind of started out with this light brown color. And then, like I mentioned prior to this, I sprayed this with Mr. Super Clear and let it sit for 30 minutes. I did that twice in this whole process. At this point, I grabbed my Fortitude head because I just didn't know exactly what it was supposed to look like, so I kind of take a look at it really quickly, and that actually helped me a lot figure out like where the lines were gonna go and like how far in the head the lines were supposed to go. So that helped a ton. And yeah, I mean, this process was really fun. It was really easy. So I basically just started with this light brown color on the bottom layer of the eyes. And I gave a lot of detail to the eyelashes. Those were really hard to do on both sides, making them symmetrical. I mean, obviously this isn't perfect. It's not going to be perfect, so it worked out in my favor. but it was still a little bit of a struggle to get everything at least looking somewhat symmetrical. You still want it to kind of look symmetrical. But yeah, I did a pretty decent job of making things look decent. I didn't do too many eyelashes or anything like that, just to kind of help me out a little bit. So yeah, now I'm moving on to the eyebrows, which again were extremely hard. That was harder to make them look somewhat similar than the eyelashes. So, but it was really fun. The mouth was probably one of the hardest because the pencil had to be super, super sharp in order to get into the crease of the mouth. So that was a little bit difficult, but I did manage. At this point, I am working on the blush. So the blush was a little weird. I started out with a light pink colored pencil, and I ended up having to move to a red one because the pink colored pencil was just not pigmented enough, because you were only barely putting a little bit on. So the red actually worked a ton better. I know people have mentioned that they use pastels. I just used the X-Acto knife, scraped off some of the colored pencil and brushed it on, and that worked perfectly for me. And I really enjoyed the process. It was actually kind of soothing. And then of course I can't do a face up without freckles. I'm just addicted to freckles. So that's what I'm doing here, and just kind of adding some little touches to the mouth and the little freckles. So at this point, this is my halfway point. At this point, I sprayed it again with Mr. Super Clear, and I moved on to the next layer. So this is what you're seeing now is after I sprayed it and I let it sit for 30 minutes. I grabbed a darker brown and just went right over the top of that lighter brown, because when I looked at the Fortitude doll, I noticed there was a lighter color right underneath the darker color. So I kind of just built it up based on what I saw the main ones looking like. So that's what I'm kind of doing here, is I'm just adding darker details over the top of everything. And me thinking it's in frame and showing you. I wanted to leave that in because, you know, I'm terrible at videography. Anyway, I'm moving back on to doing another layer of the blush and moving on to the detail of the mouth. And basically just giving everything a really dark layer. So I added black onto the eyelashes and the mouth, and some pink and more blush. And yeah, and I just added the little finishing touches to it, and it is actually complete at this point. I just added a couple extra freckles and we are done. And I love how it turned out. It was super, super fun. So I would like to officially introduce you to little Olivia. She is going to go by Olivia or Liv. She is so freaking cute. I actually initially wanted to sell these, and I will probably sell some in the future, but after I did this, I just couldn't help but keep my first face up that I've ever done. I think, considering the fact that it was my first one, it's actually not too bad. I am not gonna lie, I really love it. She is, if you didn't catch at the beginning, she is the Mirai sculpt in cinnamon. And I adore her little cute face. So quick backstory on why I named her Olivia, if anybody cares to know. I had a friend in college. I graduated from college in 2015. And when I first started, my very first semester there, I had a friend named Olivia, and she was the sweetest little thing. And I only knew her for probably just a few months. And she wasn't like my super close friend, but she was still in my friend group, of a pretty small friend group. And she passed away the beginning of the second semester that I was in college. And I just felt like I kind of wanted to memorialize her a little bit, because she was adorable and she was so sweet. And I think that she passed too young. And so I wanted to honor her. Just recently, the anniversary of her passing just happened, like just last week. And so when I just so hadn't happened to coordinate with me making my first face up, and so when I was thinking of names for her, since I decided I'm just gonna keep her, Olivia popped into my head. A lot of people called her Liv, and I thought that's really, really cute. And so this is Olivia / Liv. And yeah, I don't plan on giving her away anytime soon. So I really hope that you enjoyed this process. I have a lot more plans for more face ups in the future, and I'm really, really excited about it. I bought a pack of 6 from the Smartell website. This is one of them, and I also sent one off to Magical Girl Kit Kat Gaming on YouTube, and she is gonna do a face up for me, and I'm super excited to see it. So I sent her one, so I have 4 left. I do plan on keeping one of them for a future boy, if I can ever get my hands on a boy body. I'm gonna do a face up for my boy. And so I've got 3 after that. And so I'm gonna do face ups for those, and as long as I don't get attached, I will be selling them. So if you're interested, I will let you know in the video if I'm selling it or not. But for her, I'm not gonna sell sweet little Olivia because I'm just too attached. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have an amazing day. I really appreciate you watching. This channel is growing way faster than I ever would have anticipated at this point. And so I'm just really excited to keep doing stuff, and I appreciate you, going along with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.